So these are the diaries of a goat farmer, and today we're just testing out the equipment. Remember, we are preparing to actually plant lucerne and all those things that would need maize for our goats. So we are trying to service all the equipment. This is our first time doing this, so we realized that this equipment is difficult to use. So here we're trying to actually hook up the planter, and we successfully did that, and then we got some grain from last year so that we could just test to see if this planter was actually working. So we put it in there. So this is a manual one, so as the wheels turn, those chains are turning, that's how it's also planting. So this is just a test run that we are doing. So we'll ask the driver to drive and let's see how it's actually going to perform. So from here we'll then know what we need to service and things like that. So our guy, remember the guy from Tractor World, is still with us and he's actually helping us to get these things working. So as it starts, let's see how it goes. So yeah, let's see. Can you see those seeds that are being dropped down? So we can see one that's working, the other one is also dropping, and the other one on the left is also dropping. But you can see that the one on the extreme left there is not working. It seems like there's nothing coming down from there, but the other one seems to be working. So let's just check as he stops to just look at the spacing. You can see that the spacing is different. In one aspect the seeds are well spaced, in the other one it's not. So this guy is actually just counting just to try and make sure, but you can actually see that the settings are not correct on all the planters, on all the I don't know, gears. So it's planting at different kind of rates, because you can actually set up these things. So this is what we are learning, guys. So we have to make sure we get this right before we go to our lucerne field, before we go to maize field, and before we plant anything else. The next step now is to test this plow. So that's not correct. So it's not actually doing what it's supposed to be doing. So after some time we get to stop him and then we reconfigure this. I mean, it takes a lot of time to, but then there we got it right now. That's how it's supposed to be working. So we are testing and we are seeing that it's actually working, but it takes time. It really takes a lot of time to get this thing working like this. So still they will practice again and again and again until we are actually able to set it up correctly. Then after that we are now looking at testing the disc. So this is a bit complicated. So he has to hook the disc onto the tractor there, and they try to actually lift it, but you can't lift this thing, it's just too heavy. So then the driver came up with a brilliant idea. He says, give me a chain so that they could actually use the arms of the tractor to raise that thing. But can you see they were trying and it's just too heavy, they just couldn't do it. Then the brilliant idea that the driver came up with of using a chain, I thought that was quite innovative. I guess maybe for tractor drivers this kind of things are normal and they're supposed to be able to do that. This is the planter that we're trying to hook up. Can you see it's quite old and rusty, but we want to see if it still works. So the first thing now, while we are sorting out the chain, they actually just decide to connect the hydraulics just to see if the hydraulics are still functioning. So they hook up the hydraulics there, and let's see how it works. And you can see the chain is here now, and the hydraulics have been plugged in now. So at least we can test to see if the hydraulic function is working. And yeah, let's look at how they're sorting out the chains now so that they can actually lift that up. So yeah, so that's what they're doing now. And after they've tied that, they've been able to now get the thing onto the chain. So the driver is actually going to try and lift up using those arms to lift up the trailer, and then at the same time reverse back so that he can actually get it in. So let's see how this works. Let's see if these guys can actually do this. Remember, this is the first time doing this, so it's also a new experience for me, because last time we just hired a tractor, but this time we are having to repair the equipment. So he's lifting it up using those arms, and then he has to now reverse. So let's see if he's gonna make it there. So this is quite I guess when you're used to it, it becomes easy, but if it's the first time, it becomes a challenge. So there they missed, and they have to redo it. They have to do it again. So they lift it up again, and then the driver now, he has to now reverse tractor so that it can actually go in there. There we go. So now now they have to just put like a pin there so that this thing is hooked. And that's a success for us for today. So they pull out the big guns there. That's your hammer, and then they get the pin there, and then they actually just bash it in there just to make sure that it's secure and that we're able to actually hook up the disc. So the disc are. So after that's done, now connected the hydraulics. Yes, it works. So the wheel has been lifted with the hydraulics. So now when it's in this mode now, it can start actually doing the work, the disc harrowing. So today we won't actually move it because we've got some housings and casings and bearings that we need to replace on the discs. But look, at least the hydraulics is working. And yeah, so for today, this is what we have done today. So my next video, I'll show you when we're actually testing this thing, going to the field, preparing the actual field, and then actually then planting, so that you can get an appreciation of how we are doing this farming. Remember to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. These are the diaries of a goat farmer. Bye for now.